human life is always uncertain. From the earliest times, men and women have asked the same question. How can one live with calm when the world is unpredictable, when fortune can shift in an instant, and when illness, loss, and misfortune are always possible? Anxiety clings to us like a shadow, whispering fears of what might happen tomorrow, next week, or next year. Yet must we allow it to dominate our hearts, cloud our judgment, and steal our joy? The Stoic philosophers of Greece and Rome taught that true freedom is not wealth, nor glory, nor power, but mastery over the self. To govern one's own thoughts, to remain steady regardless of external circumstances, that is the true art of living. Their lessons, honed through hardship, observation, and contemplation, still resonate today. They offer a guide for those who wish to quiet the mind, stop overthinking, and meet life with clarity, resilience, and calm. This essay explores those lessons, illustrating how we can disentangle ourselves from unnecessary worry, stop mental spirals of anxiety, and cultivate a mind capable of facing whatever life brings. Understanding anxiety arises because the human mind projects itself into the future. We imagine events that have not yet happened, envision losses, conflicts, illnesses, humiliations, and already suffer them in advance. We experience grief, fear, and panic over what is not yet real. Our imagination becomes a prison, and our thoughts become the warden. Epictetus, once a slave and later a renowned teacher of philosophy, observed, "Men are disturbed not by things, but by the views they take of them. It is rarely the events themselves that unbalance us. A disease in itself is neutral. It is our interpretation of it that causes dread. Poverty alone is not unbearable. Suffering comes from imagining all the ways it might ruin our lives. Anxiety is born of imagination, not reality." Marcus Aurelius, emperor and philosopher, reflected, "If you are troubled by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your judgment of it. And this judgment you can revoke at any moment." We often picture ourselves overwhelmed by disasters before they even occur, creating storms that exist only in our minds. Imagine a man fearing a storm at sea. Clouds gather, he trembles. Yet the storm itself is neither kind nor cruel. It simply is. Only his thoughts make it terrifying. This is the essence of Stoic insight. Suffering is optional. Anxiety often disguises itself as responsibility, telling us that if we worry enough, we can prevent the future. But the future is not ours to control. The more we resist it mentally, the more power it gains over us. What we can control and what we cannot. Central to Stoicism is a radical distinction between what lies within our control and what does not. Our thoughts, judgments, decisions, and actions belong to us. Everything else, the weather, the opinions of others, our health, wealth, or the rise and fall of fortune, is beyond our command. Anxiety flourishes when we confuse these domains. When we demand control over what is outside our reach, disappointment is inevitable. But when we focus on what we can govern, our judgments, responses, and virtue, we gain freedom. Epictetus taught, "The beginning of freedom is the realization that some things are up to us and some are not." Think of your worries. Do you fear what others will think? Their opinions are theirs, not yours. Do you fear illness? Nature follows its course. Do you obsess over wealth? Fortune can take it in an instant. None of these belong to you. What does belong to you is your reason, your judgment, your courage. These are treasures that cannot be stolen, lost, or destroyed. If you base your peace of mind on them alone, no external event can rob you of serenity. Stoicism teaches that the only true good is virtue, wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. Everything else is indifferent, valuable only in how it is used. A man may lose wealth, but if he retains his wisdom and composure, he has lost nothing essential. The sailor and the sea. The Stoics often taught through vivid metaphors. Picture a sailor navigating the open sea. He can adjust the sails, grasp the rudder, read the stars, but he cannot command the wind or calm the waves. A wise sailor accepts this and focuses on what he can do. An anxious sailor, however, curses the sky, wishing it would obey him. He struggles against the wind, wastes energy fighting the storm, and exhausts himself unnecessarily. So it is with life. We can steer our thoughts, guide our choices, discipline our actions. The world will change unpredictably, often harshly. The wise person acts with skill and patience, unshaken by the waves. Consider your anxieties as storms. Each may feel overwhelming. But like the sailor, you can focus on your craft, how you think, act, and respond. The rest is outside your control. The Stoics remind us that misfortune is not evil itself, but an opportunity to exercise virtue. Facing a storm, one practices courage. Losing wealth offers a chance for temperance. Being insulted is an opportunity for patience. Life is the training ground, and adversity is the gymnasium of the soul. The power of presence. To resist anxiety, one must return to the present. Anxiety feeds on the future, but the present moment is always simpler than imagination suggests. Marcus Aurelius counseled, "Confine yourself to the present. A real illness demands treatment and courage. A possible illness tomorrow tortures only imagination. A real loss requires mourning. A feared loss in advance creates unnecessary suffering. Practice returning to the moment. When you feel yourself spiraling, ask, what can I do right now? What is truly happening in this instant? Focusing on the here and now grounds the mind and diminishes imagined catastrophes. Mindfulness, though the Stoics did not call it that, was a key technique. Attention to one's judgments and intentions, careful reflection on what is and is not real, and continual questioning of emotional reactions. Reflection on mortality far from being grim, Stoics embraced the contemplation of death as a tool for liberation. Seneca wrote, "He who has learned to die has unlearned how to be a slave." If death is certain and inevitable, why let fear dominate the rest of life? Remembering mortality clarifies priorities, fosters gratitude, and encourages courage. A philosopher walking calmly through the city at dusk, aware of his limited days, may encounter insult, distraction, or loss, yet remain composed. Death reminds him what truly matters. The minor disturbances of life are stripped of terror when compared to the greatest certainty. Courage in the face of the unavoidable. Anxiety is avoidance of reality. It traps one in imagined harms. Stoicism calls for courage, to confront reality, to act where action is possible, and to accept what cannot be changed. Epictetus urged, "Do not seek for events to happen as you wish, but wish for them to happen as they do, and you will live at peace." This is not passivity, it is acceptance of the natural order and responsibility for our own response. A general facing a battle he cannot avoid cannot control every outcome, but he can prepare, lead wisely, and remain composed. The victory is in self-mastery, not in controlling all events. Daily practices for tranquility. The Stoics emphasized repeated practice. Peace is a skill, cultivated like a muscle. Each morning, remind yourself, "Today, I will meet arrogance, selfishness, envy, and ingratitude. They cannot harm me if I remain virtuous." Each evening, reflect: what did I do well? Where did I remain calm? Where did I yield to fear? Journaling, reflection, and small exercises strengthen the mind. Gradually, one builds a stable inner fortress, unshaken by fortune or insult. The inner fortress. The mind can be envisioned as a fortress. Storms rage, waves crash, yet the walls endure. Seneca reminded, "True good cannot be taken from us, for it resides within." Anxiety arises when we seek security in wealth, approval, or comfort. Rooted in reason and virtue, the mind is unshakable. No external event can breach its walls. Reflection, acceptance, and virtue practice are the mortar that binds the fortress stones. Lessons from the lives of Stoics history shows Stoicism in action. Epictetus, once a slave, endured beatings. When his leg broke, he calmly remarked, "I told you it would break." His body suffered. His mind remained intact. Seneca, ordered to commit suicide by Nero, faced death with dignity, comforting friends, speaking wisely, and embracing the inevitable. Marcus Aurelius, emperor amid war and plague, consistently reflected on virtue, writing, "Seek not fame nor riches, but virtue." These lives show that Stoicism is not abstract philosophy, but a lived strength, tested by adversity. Practical Stoic tools. The Stoics offer techniques still relevant today. Begin each day acknowledging difficulties will arise and commit not to be shaken. End each day reviewing actions, emotions, and responses. Distinguish clearly what is within your control. Act only there. Practice voluntary simplicity to lessen fear of loss. Contemplate mortality to sharpen focus and gratitude. These habits build a mind that can face uncertainty without fear. The sea within. The soul is like the sea. Calm, it reflects the sky clearly. Stormy, it distorts all it touches. Anxiety is the storm. Reason is the helmsman. We cannot command the wind, but we can guide the ship. We cannot forbid waves to rise, but we can learn to sail skillfully. Embracing daily challenges. Every day presents new tests. Stoicism teaches that challenges are not interruptions, but opportunities. A rude neighbor, a difficult task, a financial setback. These are not punishments, but exercises for virtue. Courage, patience, temperance, and wisdom are strengthened by repeated practice in the ordinary moments of life. Consider a merchant in the Forum of Rome. Customers may insult him, competitors may cheat. If he reacts with anger, he is enslaved by circumstance. If he maintains composure, acting justly and reasonably, he demonstrates mastery over self. The marketplace becomes a classroom, and every interaction a lesson. The role of community Stoicism is often seen as solitary, but the philosophers recognize the importance of relationships. Friendship, mentorship, and honest discourse strengthen resilience. Sharing experiences, reflecting with others, and learning from those who model virtue are key components of a tranquil life. Seneca wrote, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you. Welcome those whom you yourself can improve. The process is mutual. The community fortifies the individual." By surrounding ourselves with reasoned, virtuous people, we reinforce our inner stability and lessen susceptibility to anxiety caused by social pressures or misunderstandings. Conclusion. Stoicism does not promise permanent absence of fear. It promises freedom from being enslaved by anxiety. The anxious person lives twice, once imagining suffering, again experiencing it. The Stoic lives once, confronting reality without fear of phantoms. Pain, loss, and death are inevitable, but none need rob us of peace. Peace lies in our judgments. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Live as a sailor masters the ship, as a tree roots itself in the earth, as a fortress withstands storms. Walk each day with composure, face what comes, and refuse to surrender to fear. Calm and clarity are always within reach, even amid life's fiercest storms.